Good afternoon. My name is John Alsterbrook. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Just a brief introduction. I grew up halfway between Monkey's Eyebrow, Devil's Elbow, Kentucky. I have been in Alabama since 1994, and this is where I met my wife, and we have a daughter. And she, when I discussed this idea of starting a channel, she asked, to an extent, was I trying to be an influencer? And I originally said no, that was not my intention. But since then, I have decided that it somewhat is my intention. So, also in my background, I'm proudly independent Baptist. As the old preacher said, I was Baptist born, Baptist bred, and when I'm gone, I'll be Baptist dead. So, this is not a religious channel in essence, but it would be very difficult for me to do this without bringing some Bible doctrine, Bible truths into it. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 25 says, "Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as our manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much more as you see the day approaching." So the reasons I'm actually starting this channel is, first, it's an accountability to me. Some of the things that we will discuss, some of the things that we'll go over will cause me to be disciplined. If I show you a drill on the range, that sort of thing, I'll have to be able to perform it. And so it will keep me accountable. To disseminate information. There's nothing that's going to be original in these videos. What will be done, you can find at other places on YouTube and the internet, and probably much better well done. The only thing original will be my own personal experiences that I will bring into it as we go. The third thing is the difficulty getting everybody together. We live in a very chaotic and hectic life and world, and finding time with work schedules and church schedules and family schedules of being able to spend time to train is problematic. And this way we can disseminate the information. There will be homework, and we can work as individuals or as other groups, even if we can't get together. And finally is the lateness of the hour. I personally believe that if the Lord tarries and the rapture doesn't take place soon, it will just continue to get worse and worse. And so we've kind of, let me rephrase that, I have kind of set on my thumb and not done what I needed to do. The goals of the channel is to make our families, our churches, our quote-unquote tribes more secure. And now when we look at security, first off is spiritual security. Are our families spiritually secure? Are they brought up in the admonition of the Lord? Are we in church? Are we doing Bible study? That sort of thing. Because if we don't do that, everything else is worthless. Christ talks in the Gospel of Luke, and I should have looked the chapter up and I forgot. It's chapter 10 or 11, in that neighborhood. But he talks about a certain rich man. And the rich man, and I'm paraphrasing, but the rich man basically had a bumper crop. And he's talking to himself like I do quite frequently. And he said, "What am I going to do?" He said, "Well, I'll tear down my barns, I'll build bigger barns." And he said, "I will say to myself, that I will basically live high on the hog. I will rest and take it easy." And that night, the Lord comes to him and tells him, "Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee." Now, as my pastor has said on many times, the Bible does not say that the man was old, and it doesn't say he was sick, but he did die. And we will all, at some point, die, if the Lord tarries. And so what we have to do is make sure that spiritually that's taken care of first, because everything else is academic after that. Just to chase a little bit of rabbit, and this won't cost you anything, but if you've ever thought that you're worthless, that you have no value, how do we place a value on something? The value of something is what somebody's willing to pay for it. God, in His grace and His mercy, gave His Son for us. That's your value. The Son of Heaven is what God paid that we might have eternal life. So let no one ever tell you that you have no value. You may be like me and be ugly. You may not be all that intelligent like me, but you do have value. You are not worthless. All right, that don't cost you nothing. I would also, on a lighter note, to have this to encourage friendly competition. When we do get together, compete against each other. And I'm not against wagers. Now, we're not going to be gambling money, but the loser buys the pizza or something along those lines. And finally, blood is thicker than water. Now, those of y'all that have known me have heard me say this many times. I had always heard this growing up, and I looked at it in the respect that the family meant the most. But there's a gentleman by the name of, well, I don't know his real name honestly. His nom de plume is John Mosby. He is the Mountain Gorilla. He's on Patreon. And he comes at a lot of stuff from a Germanic pagan background. And he said that we've actually used this backwards. That when we refer to the blood is thicker than water, what it actually means is the blood oath is thicker than the water of birth. And when I read that in one of his books, it just struck me that is so true. The blood of Christ binds us in a way that our own family does not. That is our true family. So, tentative format. I intend, if the Lord wills it, roughly 2 videos a week. I'm going to try to keep the videos around 10 minutes, more or less. To begin with, there'll be one lecture video similar to this, one range video. We're kind of waiting on the range videos because I ordered a couple things from Amazon to do the remote microphone, that sort of thing. So to start with, it'll be more lecture. And then finally, we'll have homework. When we do a drill, most of our drills will be dry fire. This is something you'll be able to do in your home. Doesn't cost any money. You can, unless it's a 22 rim fire, you can dry fire all day long. It will not hurt your firearm. And you will get more benefit from dry fire than you ever will live fire. And then that translates directly into live fire. The only thing you'll have to pick up after that is recoil management. And that's if you have dry fired and you have a proper natural point of aim, proper position, the recoil management will take care of itself. So what we'll start out is it's much like learning a musical instrument. The first step is conscious and confident. You have to think about it, and you still stink. Then once you get past that point, you have conscious, competent. You think about it, you can do it. If your mind wanders, your level drops. So then that's subconscious and competent. If we're not thinking about it, we can't do it as well. Ideally, what we want to get to is subconscious, competent. We don't have to think about it. When my father-in-law plays the guitar, he doesn't have to think about the G formation, D formation. It comes naturally to him because he's been doing it for years. Driving a car, same thing. Our subject matter. Our subject matter is going to be adult in nature, but we're going to keep it suitable for all ages, and it's going to be applicable to men and women. John Mosby discussed with the 75th Ranger Regiment. One of the generals, I believe it was McChrystal, came out, and he looked at 4 areas to increase the capability of the 75th Ranger Regiment. First was fitness, marksmanship was second, medical, and battle drills. We will look at something similar to that. Of course, it won't be directly correlate to what we do because we're not the 75th Ranger Regiment, and we are not going to pretend to be the 75th Ranger Regiment. We will discuss mindset and situational awareness, and then any suggestions that y'all have, anything y'all want to cover. Hopefully it's something I know a little bit about. If not, I'll either try to learn it or find somebody who does know it. So that is our first video. At this point, we've gone 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So we're kind of on par for there. I want to thank you for your time. Your time is very valuable, and I don't want to waste it. Now, the videos will not be public per se with YouTube. But if you do find them worthwhile, I would ask that you share them to people that you think might be beneficial. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, or witticisms, leave them in the comment section, and we'll go from there. As always, I remain your humble and obedient servant, John Alsabrook. Good night.